Hi guys! So today we are going to do something completely different. We are finally doing a Q&A. You guys have been asking for this for years. The last one I did was like 4 years ago. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to split it into two parts. One part will be on this channel and one part will be on my second channel, which I am finally starting, which is called Antphrodite, T-E-A. I will link it down below. And so this part will be about tarot questions. The second part will be about my personal life. And if you go and subscribe to my second channel, you're going to get a lot of cool videos. You're going to get things like me ranting and vlogging and stuff like that. Also, I still have my YouTube community, YouTube memberships, which the juicy story times and stuff are still going to remain there, and extra picker cards and things like that, and be able to win a reading from me. That's all going to still be in my YouTube members. You know, I'm going to keep the juice for them, but I can still give everyone else something as well on my second channel. So let's just get started. I wrote down all of the questions on an actual piece of paper. Okay? All right. So, how did you get into tarot and how did you learn? So this is a very big question that I get all the time, and I don't have a good answer for it because the answer is I taught myself. So for those of you that don't know, I do not have an inner dialogue. I don't hear anything. I only see pictures and get feelings. And so for me, I was drawn to visual mediums, and so I was drawn to tarot cards because they are a visual medium. Tarot is a second language to me, so it's a little bit difficult for me to kind of interpret something that I feel like I grew up with. I started doing it when I was like 12. I don't know. It's very difficult to kind of tell, but I wanted to understand why people didn't like me and why I didn't really fit in, and so I was drawn to spirituality because of that. When I found out I had an Aries moon, everything made sense. But yes, literally lost my train of thought. See, welcome to being a Gemini. What was the second question? Oh, how did you learn? Yeah, I taught myself. One thing I will say about like tips and tricks for learning tarot, because people are going to ask, try to keep everything I read in threes. Okay. Every 3 cards tell a story. And so I tell people to, like, when you're, learning, ask your friend like what they're doing and then pull 3 cards and tell them what you think is going to happen. And so when they go and do that event or going out and do something, or they go on that date, it's the truth. When they come back, ask them what happened so that you can go back and place what each card means. Because that's how I learned that Queen of Wands doesn't always mean fiery, feisty, mean person. Sometimes it's just a beautiful, gorgeous, skinny legend. Because I went back and I was like, did you get into a fight? They're like, no, but I met this beautiful woman. So there you go. Okay, how did you know you were psychic? This is a question that is so weird. Okay, I still learn every day that I'm different than everyone else. I think of it like a 2-valve system. Most people are born themselves and they learn to tap into their intuition. I was born with my intuition. I had to learn to tap into myself. I don't hear things, I feel them. I don't experience things, I feel them. Like, I don't know how to explain it to you. Everything I do, I think I'm tasting something, but I'm feeling it. Everything, like, the way I operate is just completely different than the way everyone else operates, but I've always been this way, so I just assume everyone is the way I am, and I don't know how to articulate or explain what's happening or what I'm feeling because it's normal for me. So how the hell am I supposed to explain to people what I am and what I'm feeling when I don't even know what their default is, what the base level for people who aren't like me? I don't know what that's like, so how can I find what's different when I don't know what's normal, right? So it's like, it's so difficult. It's a constant battle. And I think back to like when I was a kid and I'm like, yeah, you were picking up psychic energy here. You got into an argument here because you were right. You were arguing with adults because you knew they were lying because you were psychic. Like, it's just this constant battle of realizing that I am just completely different. It's a very isolating feeling. I feel very lonely all the time. People truly never understand me. In my personal life, every man has always told me you're enigmatic, like an enigma. Or I never know what you're going to say next or what you're going to do, or you keep me on my toes and they're scared of it. I don't know. I think that there's just really something very wrong with me. Okay. What would you do if you weren't a tarot reader? So this is a fun question. I wanted to be a matchmaker. I said, I like helping people find love. Duh. I mean, it's half of my job. Maybe one day I'll have my own app or something, a psychic matchmaking app, put it into the existence. No one could do it like me though, so don't even try it. Red flags and tarot readers. Ooh. Knocking the deck. I can't stand that. Listen, some of you want to knock your deck. That's fine if that's how you cleanse it, whatever. But a lot of people who knock the deck are just mimicking what they've learned on TikTok. So I guess TikTok is probably the red flag, a TikTok tarot reader. Listen, not all of them, but here's the thing. There's a difference between someone that has dove into tarot and learned all about it, and there's someone else who, there's a difference between someone who dove into tarot, learned all about it, and then has their own interpretations versus someone that watched what other people did, mimicked it, and then perpetuated gatekeeping bullshit. And I find that that happens a lot, especially when it's like, not the deck, this is for my collective, what are your spirit guides saying? A lot of spiritual jargon is always a red flag. Spiritual jargon, red flag, okay? When they start spamming things like star seeds and all this, it's like, yeah, cool, whatever. You don't have to say all that. To me, when people start using words like that, they're alienating the audience because they're trying to act superior. Even if that's truly how you feel and that you believe that you're a star seed or someone's a star seed, there's no reason to articulate that other than to make someone feel like grandiose, which is a red flag. Number two, twin flames. Again, I'm back and forth with twin flames, but I think a lot of times it's very easy to get 14-year-old girls stuck in a loop of he's coming back, he wants to marry you, when he's just an avoidant, especially on TikTok. There's a lot of very young girls, which I really want to go into a rant about how, maybe I'll do this on my second channel, about how TikTok is pushing a lot of young women to literally be subservient to men, which I don't understand. I could go into this. Like, I want all the people who follow me to be strong, independent, make their own money, and be bosses and leaders and entrepreneurs and CEOs or the best at what they do. But I feel like my job is being undermined by a lot of people who are perpetuating fake narratives about, I just want someone to take care of me, when that's not really how it goes. And we'll get into that in another video. Anyways, back to red flags about tarot readers. Another thing I will say is anybody who says that you're not allowed to read someone without permission. This, by the way, is gatekeeping bullshit. Those who can't do, tell others not to. Just because you're not able to get information because you're still growing or learning doesn't mean other people aren't. At the end of the day, you're not able to get information that you are not allowed. If you think that you are able to get information that you are not allowed to get, then you, sir or ma'am, think that you are grandiose. Okay, you think you are better than everyone, and you think you are a god. That is a narcissistic tendency, and we need to reel that in. We are messengers. I am literally just a phone. And when I dial the number, I pick up, or they pick up, and I can hear them, and I translate what I hear, or I translate what I see. So how the hell am I'm not a part of this at all. It's not my magic ability that's doing everything. It's not my magic tendency that's doing everything. I just can hear or see. So if you don't like the information that I get and you think I'm not allowed to get it, you got to take that up with universal energies, because that has nothing to do with me. And if you think that you can control what information you get, again, narcissistic tendency, red flag. There's a lot of that. And there's a lot of competition in the spiritual community. Y'all know me. I have been doing this since I was 12 professionally for over 6 years now, and I keep to myself. I don't trust nobody because it's very, very, very cutthroat. There's also a lot of rampant homophobia in this tarot reading and spiritual community. I am one of few gay men in this industry, and let me tell you something, women can be just as homophobic as men, so that's a whole nother topic. Okay. Do you do tarot on yourself? No. Very rarely. Look, I'm going to be very honest. I try to trust my intuition. I try to trust my gut. But people always ask, oh, do you do tarot on boys? I don't care enough about men to do a tarot reading on them. Like, I don't care about you enough. I'm not really worried about it, and I'll trust my intuition. I usually am pretty good at reading people. Like, I think I'm an expert at reading people, to be honest. A very good judge of character. So I usually don't have to. I can usually pick up on my own. What was your spiritual belief growing up? Catholic. So definitely very typical Italian New Yorker Catholic. You know, communion, altar boy, everything. I was my religion teacher's favorite student because I kept asking why, because nothing made sense, and they kept saying because, which doesn't make sense. Confession didn't really make sense to me. How can you just make up a number of Hail Marys and Our Fathers to say, and then it goes away? There's just a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. When we were younger, we used to call the body of Christ the Christ crackers or the Jesus. And I remember the priest would go back he would literally go open the pantry. It would be like a giant pantry filled with the Jesus. And he would just go, it wasn't even like the sun. It was like, and we were like, what? That's you blessing them? It just, for me, was a lot of bullshit. And I respect it if that's your religion, but for me, I just saw a lot of greed with the church, constant, begging for money, constant begging for this and that, turning people away who couldn't afford to, be a part of certain things in the church. To me, the church was very greedy, so it just wasn't really something that I enjoyed. Nowadays I kind of believe in multiple gods. I've seen things, if you've seen my video, Proof Simulation Theory is Real, I've definitely seen some things where I believe there are multiple gods now. So I don't know what they are, multiple spirits, entities, I don't know. My spiritual beliefs are always evolving. What's your chart? Maybe I'll be able to insert it right here if I remember. Would you ever teach tarot? People ask me all the time if I will teach them tarot. And the thing is that maybe one day I'll have a class. It will be paid. I'm not gonna do that for free. It's a lot of work. But there's this thing that whenever and I know all my creatives and artists are gonna agree with me. When you're good at something or when you figure something out, everyone just wants that thing and they just want to be spoon-fed it. They just are like, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. It's like when you find your secret sauce, everybody just needs to have it. And I don't want this to come across as gatekeepy, but I want to enjoy my time in the sun. I want to enjoy being really good at something. Like, I just want to enjoy being really good at this thing and helping others for a little bit. Eventually, as I get older and, I want things to calm down a little bit, then I will be doing more classes and things like that. But is it a bad thing for me to just want to be good at something and just I don't know, be happy? Like, why do I have to I almost feel like I have to give away all of my things that I'm good at. And I just want to be good at it for a little bit. I promise I will eventually teach something, but right now I just want to be good at it. Is that really so wrong? I love you guys though. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I want my own TV show. I will have my own TV show. Worked with a lot of production companies over the years. Nothing ever pans out yet, but something will eventually. I think a lot of cool shows could happen. I mean, I could do a tarot show. I could do a dating show. I could do so many different things. I mean, I could find love. Me finding love is a mess. So that could be, it could psychic finds love. I could also help other people find love. I think I'm a good host. I could host a match game, mama. Come on, Drag Race. I just think there's a lot of things I could do. I'm pretty crazy and a pretty big personality. So that's where I'm hoping I'll be in 5 years. And then also, it would be nice to be in a relationship, but I really don't center men in my life, so I don't give a fuck. And then last question here will be, has a celebrity ever reached out to you? I think what I'm gonna do is save that question for the first one that I respond to in my second video on my new second channel. So I will link it down below. Make sure you go check out part 2 where I will be answering that. So see you there.